scratch it up. Music take faster.
Software called Streamliner. And I'm also a visual creator for music, and not actually a speaker, so I've got my notes here. What does a visual creator for music mean? I'm a designer, I'm a photographer, and I work with musicians and music products. But I'm also a software developer, and I've learned 7 different languages to be able to develop 2 unique digital platforms, which one of them, Streamliner, I'm hoping to talk to you this afternoon. But firstly, I'd like to give you just a little bit of background to the landscape which has shaped this. And I got this about half an hour ago, this quote from Imogen Heap, so unfortunately I'd probably just quite like to leave that quote there and just go, because I'm probably just going to ruin it straight after this. But very kind, send that through just now. So going backwards, I've been around for a little while in design. In the mid-90s, we had this beacon of hope for design and media called multimedia. Does anybody remember that phrase? Vaguely. A phrase very much of its time, but it's something we'd probably call now an immersive experience. Everything we produced as a designer was going digital, and software like Macromedia Director allowed us to put all of those things like images, fonts, audio, animations, and if your CDR had the space, a bit of video too, all into an immersive experience. So once we got used to that and the excitement of all of that, suddenly along came the popularization of the web, and everything went backwards. The scope for design and media was significantly narrowed, and restrictions in bandwidth and storage, safe colors, small pictures, a handful of safe fonts. Audio was cumbersome, and video we really didn't want to entertain. So now that I've got a rotating, wonderful bubble, I'll carry on talking and hopefully catch up with the visual shortly. So during this period when actually all of this stuff was actually being cut backwards, one of the media formats which did actually flourish really well, and which is why so many people are here today, is digital music. And particularly the downloadable digital music. The availability and portability of music exploded. So the problem with this was that restrictions in bandwidth and storage had the same effect on music, which basically meant it was distilled back to its absolute distilled format, which was the MP3, and nothing else. So when people were buying albums, they were just downloading MP3s. So going back to the web stuff, just as we're getting used to creating immersive, lovely, retro multimedia experiences for the web using Adobe Flash, then the mobile comes along. And suddenly we're backwards again. We've got narrower bandwidths. We've got more layout problems. We've got font problems. And initially, very little accommodation for audio and video. Thankfully, apps, HTML5, come along, and now we're seeing much better integration of media types on mobile, and we're getting back to the fully immersive experiences again. But for anyone buying music, whether it be on a computer or whether it be on mobile, the media experience is still pretty poor. You download a set of MP3s, and that's it. There's no lyrics, there's no credits, there's no thank yous, there's no visuals, there's no photos, there's no backstory to the album. And I'm still getting a bit frustrated that it's doing that. So maybe I can just see what I can do about that. Nothing by the looks of it. OK. I'll keep it on there, and I'll move on. Fans of music used to rush out to buy an album, They'd get home, they'd put the album on the player, and they'd dive into this immersive experience of the physical product. And all of this content cost tens of thousands of pounds for the labels to produce, to enhance the album experience. And all of this actually helped make music a justifiable, valued item. And yes, this introduction of technology in 10 years ago has meant that we can create playlists on the fly. We can have all of our albums in our pocket, and we can listen to it wherever we like. But what about that valued album experience? The industry as a whole no longer has the excuses of poor storage space or bandwidth. And the capability and cost of handsets is really a non-issue now as well, or becoming a non-issue. So why do we still put up with just an MP3? This same bland experience, which is almost exactly as it was popularized 10 years ago in 2003. So, assuming I've got still no graphics, I'll carry on. So I want to go back to 2003 for a quick second. Media in 2003. Photography, for example. Photography had already gone digital. But the big news around that period was photography was moving to mobile. If you were lucky, you could take a VGA shot, VGA quality shot, with your mobile, yet only way less than 50% of phones actually had a camera. And it was going to be another 3 years before only 50% of phones had a camera. What about video? Online video. 2003, YouTube wasn't even launched. So it would be another 2 years before we knew about YouTube. And what about music? Music downloads. This is where something dramatic happened. Apple launched iTunes. And suddenly, they popularized the legal purchase and download of MP3s, and they changed the face of music retail. Arguably, the entire face of the music industry. So forward winding, we're now in 2013, and let's look at those three again. Mobile photography. Phones can now have up to 12 megapixel sensors in them. Within seconds of taking a shot, you can enhance it, crop it, and send it to your friends anywhere in the world. And actually now, the phone is the most popular camera type in the world. That's a huge leap in 10 years. What about online video? I said before, YouTube hadn't even launched then. Now, YouTube gets up to 4 billion hits a day. And there are other services as well that all run HD quality video, streamed. And streaming TV in general is fast becoming a household norm. Now, I know you know all of this, but the surprising thing for me is when we look at music downloads. The MP3 now generally comes with a JPEG of the front cover. So whilst photography's made that huge, great leap, online video's made that massive leap. The MP3 has gone from being a download MP3 to a download MP3 plus a JPEG. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm not slating iTunes here specifically. I actually love Apple. I'm probably one of the original fanboys. I've used Apple products for the last 25 years. I've recommended Apple products to bosses, clients, friends, family, countless times, and my kids actually refer to my desk as the orchard. But it's not just Apple in this event. It's Apple, it's Amazon, it's 7 Digital, it's all of the digital retailers are just downloading this music file and possibly a JPEG. And granted, I know what some of you are thinking. You can get a digital booklet, you can get a digital PDF. But what do you do with this PDF? You put your music over here on the computer and you put your PDF over here, and when do you ever retie those back up again to create the album experience. You might look at that PDF once, but where does it go from there? So as you might have guessed, this is where Streamliner steps in. And hopefully, I can at least change to this and do a little bit of tweaking. Streamliner is a platform for the virtual replication of complete album packages. So not only does it feature the cover, it features the entire package on the outside. It also features the booklet. And inside the booklet, you've got the tracks, buttons for each track, beside the relevant track in the booklet. So it is an immersive experience. The art and the graphics are together. And you get to the track that you want to hear, you click play, and hopefully, some of it's working.
What the hell is going?
And while you're listening to this, you want to know about the lyrics? They're here. You want to know who the writer was? Producer? It's here in the booklet. And the thanks at the end of the booklet. I won't go there just now. So each digital package here is taken from the original artwork for the album. And so therefore it's designed specifically for that album and displayed exactly as the original artists, in this instance, Imogen Heap, wanted it to be seen and enjoyed. So who uses Streamliner now? I'd like to show you a couple of quick case studies, assuming my technology holds up. One for Imogen Heap, who I'm working very closely with now, and has become a fantastic creative collaborator. And one for Skunk and Nancy. I'll start with Skunk and Nancy. And I'll stop this track, so we don't have some kind of strange mix-up going on. Skunk and Nancy used Streamliner as a marketing tool, which is how we originally launched. We created a Streamliner which was going to be embeddable in any online scenario. And with this highly engaging, interactive audio-visual content, they secured a front page exclusive with the Sun newspaper website, and a feature on the world's favorite rock magazine website, Kerrang!.com. And they secured the equivalents in Italy, and they secured the equivalents in Russia. Crosses the boundaries, welcome anywhere. So what do we get from this? What do they get from this? We have inbuilt analytics, bespoke analytics, watching everything that's going on. And we got an average, and that's an average across all of the visitors, of 13 minutes of engagement. And we had an average click-through to buy of 7%. I know this is a music tech festival. I don't know whether there are any marketeers out here. I know 7% sounds like a very low figure, but you kind of try and aim for 5. Now, over the last 6 months, or should I say 6 months later, we're still getting regular visitors, we're still getting regular buys, and we're still getting regular shares across the various social platforms. Hello. Something's kicked back into action. That was my image for the MP3s you buy when you get an album. So there's a long tail to it. This finished being pumped officially 6 months ago, and it's still doing the rounds. People are still sharing it because you get everything in there. It's not just a widget that says, listen to me. It's a widget that says, listen to me, look at me, observe, and learn. So the second case study is for Imogen Heap. And this is a much wider case study. much deeper, and crosses the wide range of uses for Streamliner technology. In 2010, we produced a similar style of marketing tool for Imogen for her highly acclaimed Grammy Award-winning album, Ellipse. And it's an amazing album. If you haven't got it, you've got to get it. On this occasion, we were testing our platform. It was very early days. So we were launching it a good 10 months after the album had been launched. But we still got fantastic results from it. Engagement on this 10-month-old album rocketed. Now, bearing in mind there had been a standard streaming widget on imageandheap.com for quite a while up until that point, Imi sent out one tweet announcing this. And compared to that streaming widget, we delivered 700% of the plays they got on the streaming widget in that first day. And the average engagement time on this fella was 25 minutes. So as a marketing tool, how many marketing tools out there can deliver that kind of engagement as an average? We're not talking about the upper end. This is somebody who spent 25 minutes, everybody else spent 30 seconds. This means that a lot of people spent a lot longer than 25 minutes, and some people will probably spend less. We love them as well, though. Basically here, because we had a streaming widget on imageandheap.com, and now we had the same streaming, but we had the art, we'd re-engaged all of those fans in a 10-month-old album to spend 25 minutes average there using the art. So after this, I had a call from Imi, and she asked if I'd be interested in producing a Streamliner for every track that she was writing for her new album. Has anybody been following the Heap Songs campaign at all? No? Okay, you ought to. Again, it's another one. Imogen's incredibly innovative with everything that she does. But she's been writing songs, and as she writes them, she releases them. Until she gets halfway through, which is she's at now, and then the other half of the album is going to be all released with the album at the end. So we've done 6 so far. The first one was a track called Lifeline, and we had 20,000 fans downloaded what was effectively one of these with a cardboard cover, white pages, and no music. It was completely empty. But over the following 2 weeks, we built it. And the fans who had downloaded the empty one saw it grow. And I built it out of artwork from a fan-generated submissions. 3,000 pictures I had to wade through to create this artwork. And the result is this. Everything's from fan submissions. The song itself was from fan submission sounds, which Imi took, adjusted, twisted, cropped, repeated, and created a song out of all of these noises that the fans sent in. We created a video out of fan-submitted videos, and we created this artwork out of fan-submitted pictures. So this one here was our first retail item. Fans could buy this. This wasn't a marketing tool anymore. This was an item that fans could buy as if it was the album packaging. In this case, a single. Imogen offered it as an MP3 or other formats, but specifically we'd had two generalized formats. The music on its own for 99p, and the deluxe digital version, which is $2.99. And the deluxe digital version had the Streamliner, and it had a couple of tracks which are on the back, an instrumental, a description of what the track was built, how the track was built, and the seeds and solos, which she called all the little bits of music that she sent in, or fans sent in. That on its own, without her input. And there was a video on there. So this was a deluxe package at $2.99. Or you could just buy the track at 99p. conventional wisdom, talking to anybody in the music industry about the state of play, what kids do, what anybody does, would say, sod it, 99p, I've got the track. 80% of the buyers of this single went for the $2.99 deluxe digital version. 80%. And that's 3 times the price, the second offering. So we've produced 6 more of these for the campaign as it's progressed. We've launched 3 digital reissues for the Speak for Yourself album, which I showed you at the beginning. 1 of just the album, 1 of the instrumentals, and 1 of both. And each of those came with the Streamliner. And we did a free Streamliner for Imi's work that she did with Intel, which was marketed on their website. And the latest one, which is about to be released, is a collaboration that she's done with deadmau5. So where does it go from here? We produce the next 6 Streamliners, we wrap up the 12-song campaign, and we're finished. Well, no. A key area you may have noticed that I haven't mentioned yet is mobile and tablet. What's happening in these spaces? Well, the conclusion of Imi's campaign will be a collective mobile app for iPhone and iPad, which will feature a full set of the 12 Heap songs as a virtual shelf. You'll get all of that packaging on a little virtual shelf to enjoy the entire album. But not only that, the technology behind this shelf will pave the way for any of you, any of us, to curate your own virtual album collection from other albums that you put into it. Now, this might be buying the Streamliner with the music, or it might be retrofitting your existing digital music just with the artwork. So you've got an album you bought in 1995, you've got it on your system, you retrofit it with the artwork. So what it brings it to is that you'll finally be able to go out, buy the music, sit down, put it on, and re-immerse yourself in the album again. So the marketing version of Streamliner is out there now, and it's available. The download desktop version of Streamliner, which you're looking at here, is out now, and it's available. And this, I say this, the iOS version, which is at the end of that Acrobat file that I couldn't get to, but I can show you on my phone and iPad if you'd like to see it, will be available at the end of the year. So anybody interested in any of that side of things, I'm going to be here for a while. Come and have a chat. I've got these on my laptop. I've got an iPad here and an iPhone where I can show you all the other bits. And that's me done. So thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the festival.